Welcome back to Reading and Running. Jake here, coming in with a reading wrap-up of August for the year 2023. I didn't read a whole lot. It was about 6 books, and some pretty good books in this month. So let's jump right in. First thing I read was Child of God by Cormac McCarthy. And if anyone has read this, you will know that this is one of McCarthy's more famous, or should I say infamous, novels. This is, from what I've researched, based on maybe a serial killer that was at large in the Appalachian Mountains in like the 1960s. We follow a character who isn't homeless per se, but does kind of just make their way from place to place, squats in cabins or lives in the woods, whatever they can do to get by. And they're a thief. They steal food and money to get by. And the book follows their descent into more morbid and curious acts of depravity. I think this was brilliant. I want to say this is either McCarthy's second or third novel that he wrote. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was dark. I could not believe how this book made me feel and the empathy that I felt for such a despicable character. This is definitely a must read for me if you are a McCarthy fan and you haven't read this one yet. It's a shorter book. It doesn't take that long to read, but it will definitely pack a punch. Check it out. Lock and Key, The Golden Age by Joe Hill. Of course, Lock and Key has been adapted on Netflix recently. I believe this compilation is one of the more recent entries. It follows some of the characters from the earlier times of Key House. And this one was darker, I would say, than the main storyline. I really enjoyed this one. Just more of the same. If you liked Lock and Key, this is a great graphic novel that adds a lot of depth and backstory to the early family living in Key House in the mid 20th century. Of course, the art, I love the artwork in these graphic novels. It's amazing. So another must read if you're a fan of Lock and Key. This will just be more of what you enjoy. Abraham Verghese, he wrote Cutting for Stone, and this year he came out with Covenant of Water, a quite lengthy historical fiction family saga that follows multiple generations of a family living in India. This was one of my favorite books of the year. Could not get enough of this. I listened to this on audio, which was narrated by the author himself, Abraham Verghese. He did an extraordinary narration. I would highly recommend reading this one in audio version because of that. The story follows this family who continues to have bad luck with water-related accidents. People in this family, generation after generation, they fall victim to water of various means, and some believe it's a curse on the family. Some don't know what it is. You do find out. I won't give any spoilers. I thought this was just beautifully written. multiple character perspectives, just heartbreaking and lovely. Same time, a definite notable book of 2023 and one of my favorite reads of the year. I then read Sweet Tooth, Book 1, the graphic novel. I believe this also has been adapted on Netflix recently. This one for me fell a little bit short. I wasn't the biggest fan of the art style. It just, I mean, after the first volume, I just didn't really want to keep reading. If you've read these and if it picks up, let me know if you think I should keep reading. But for the time being, I think I'm gonna just stop there. It wasn't pulling me in. It wasn't super exciting. So I think I gave that one like a 3 out of 5. Still pretty good. But yeah, didn't really do it for me. Burnham Wood by Eleanor Canton. This was a phenomenal book. Also a top read for me of the year. This follows a kind of guerrilla gardening group. A little bit hard to describe what they do, but this is set in New Zealand. There's this group of people who garden kind of on the fringe in public land or throughout people's property where they can kind of get away with it. They don't own their own land. They're just kind of a collective that's working toward like food security and environmental justice and different things like that. And they end up in a bit of a precarious situation when a billionaire megalomaniac comes to New Zealand and offers them a chance to make a name for themselves. This was a very topical, very intellectual read, but very readable and a very fast read. Brilliantly done. Of course, Eleanor Canton won, I believe, the Man Booker Award for her second book, I want to say. Forgetting the name of it right now, but excited to read whatever she comes out with in the future. And the last book that I read in August was The Intuitionist by Colson Whitehead. You know Colson Whitehead's works, you'll maybe agree with me that this one is a bit bizarre. This is only my second book I've read by Colson Whitehead. This follows a character who is a elevator inspector in New York. Imagine the elevator inspecting agency. I forget the name of it in the book. Imagine that's like akin to our kind of like FBI or something. Like this is the real kind of need to know only kind of like sexy secret agent stuff, but they're elevator inspectors. Really curious premise. Really well written in a way that if you've read Whitehead, you'll know what I'm talking about. Maybe I need to read more by him, but this one didn't. It was a bit of a difficult read. You know, it was so different. Not a lot of it stuck with me, except I do remember the feeling of just being in awe for how he was able to write seriously about such a weirdly just fictional situation that he had created. I mean, you could write almost your own dictionary from all the vocabulary that he came up with for this book. It's absolutely brilliant. I would recommend it if you were a fan of Whitehead. I would recommend it. Just to see what this kind of writing looks like. I enjoyed it, but like I said, I don't remember it super strongly. So maybe after I read more of Whitehead's works and become more familiar with his tone and his writing style, I might come back to it and I might be able to get more out of it through a reread. All right, well, thanks for joining me in this reading wrap-up journey through August of this year. Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you're new around here, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video soon. Bye.